Good morning. For those of you who are fans of my Big Country Basketball Time or my Basketball Time games in general, I have completed the CAP and ASA rules for Big Country Basketball Time. This is really to be used. So CAP, that is career athlete's position, can be used with any of the time games that have individual players like hockey, baseball, basketball, etc. And the ASA, which is the allocated scoring, advanced scoring allocation, is for basketball time when there's individual basketball players. So this would be used for Big Country Basketball Time 2.5 or Big Country Basketball Time version, Big Country Time Sports Book 4, or any of the time basketball games that actually have used the ball handler scoring matrix. Okay, so this is, of course, free. It's an add-on. The CAP, so you can get, if you go to the original Time Sports games, you can get just the CAP rules. Just a very simple thing. And those who don't know, my advanced player creation for football time also includes a advanced version of the CAP, as it has advanced individual player ratings to rate your players for football time. This has been out for a while, since January 3rd. I don't know if I let anybody know, but it also has a version of the CAP rules. However, the CAP rules that I've been using in football and basketball are also here. However, again, getting back to the reason of this video, the Big Country Basketball Time Advanced Stat Allocation rules also feature the same CAP rules, because this is exactly what I'm using for my Big Country Basketball League for my 1949 off season and my 1950 season. So what is the ASA? Well, the CAP is career athlete position. This just indicates whether a player is in his rookie year, his peak years, or his veteran years, and how you go about transitioning them from one career position to the next. So if rookies automatically in the second year become peak. In the off season, you'll roll a D6. If you roll a 1 through 3, those peak rookies will become veterans. If the player is a veteran, you roll a 1 or 2, that player will retire. So some guys will stay in their peak for years before they advance to veteran. And some veterans will play for years before they retire. So there's no way to guarantee, but you could have a guy go to rookie season, peak, boom, and then by year 4 retire. So this is generally going to create a situation where a player in minimum will play at least his rookie year. He'll play a season as a peak player, and then he'll play a season as a veteran. So he would, worst case scenario, a player would have a minimum of 3 years. Best case scenario, guys could play in their peak situation for many, many years, and they could certainly play as veterans for years. So it just creates a very cool, instead of just making a simple retirement rule or counting seasons, obviously I track whether my players are in the 10th year, the 12th year, etc. But that doesn't indicate, especially in basketball, whether they would retire in their 12th year. So this is kind of fun. All right, but that's not what this is about. It's about Big Country Basketball Time Advanced Stat Allocation. This is very simple. You use Big Country Basketball Time, so when you roll for who scores in the segment, so let's say I roll the dice and my point guard scores, and I roll a 2, my point guard scores 4 points in that segment. So he gets credited with those 4 points, but also there's an automatic stat allocation. Point guard here doesn't have any auto stat allocation, but his teammate would get a rebound tick, and if he's a plus point guard, he would draw a foul against the opposing center, right? So pretty simple. If the small forward scores, the point guard gets an automatic assist. These are teammates. His point guard would get an automatic assist. His teammate, power forward, would have a rebound during that segment. And if he's a plus small forward, his point guard would earn a steal during that segment. So small forward scores, but these are what his teammates do in that 4 minutes that would be allocated to the stat sheet. So by the time you've rolled all your segments for your whole game, you're going to have allocated points. You will have generated assists for your teammates. You will have generated rebounds for your teammates. You will have generated defensive fouls to explain why a point guard got his extra bonus points or whatever. And if a player fails to score any points in a game, you still allocate all their stats, but they just don't have any points. It would indicate that they were in foul trouble the whole game and ultimately didn't score any points because they fouled out at some point. But that wouldn't disqualify. So my power forward at the end of the game may have no points, but he still would generate all of these other stats because of his teammates' work. So he could be having a great day because his teammates are doing well, but he ultimately fouls out before he gets any buckets. So that's kind of how we'll explain why a player doesn't score any points. I mean, it's obviously a bench player could not score points because he just didn't play much. But if a player, right, so again, we're not going to actually count fouls. This just tells you why the point guard drew that bonus shot, because the opposing center fouled. I guess there's a chance you could have the point guard show up 5 or 6 times in a game, which would cause a foul out for the opposing center. And you could just track at the end of the game that the opposing center fouled out. Just don't take the opposing center out of the game until the game's over. You can indicate that he fouled out at some point. He just won't foul out. You just wouldn't take him out of the game. But I guess you could if you wanted to sub out your center due to fouls. Okay, this just gives an example of what it looks like. So the shooting guard scored 5 points in the first 4 minutes in the first quarter, and his teammate will earn an assist. His small forward will earn an assist, and his center will earn a rebound in that segment. So in those 4, and now again you say, my God, that's 4 minutes of action. Yeah, you're not going to get full simulated stats, but it will allow you to at least at the end of a game go, wow, my center had 6. My center had, 6 rebounds. They could be offensive or defensive. It doesn't matter, just 6 or 10 or whatever. You might get a point guard with a couple of steals in a game. It just gives you highlights. It may not be great for tracking perfect stats, but it will simulate all the other action that's kind of happening around your team in that segment. Again, I already described 0 points. If a player at the end of a game failed to score any points, they will keep whatever stats they've accumulated for the game, but they will be assumed that they fouled out at some point. They were in such foul trouble, they were just on and off the court and never really got a shot off. Defense indicates the defensive player. So if it says def center F, that just means the defensive center drew a foul, right? So you would just track the other team's center, give them a foul tick, right, if you want to. Or it's just for narrative, okay, that explains why my plus point guard scored that extra bucket, because he got to the line, right? All right, rebound indicates which teammate earned a rebound during the segment. So again, if my power forward scores, my point guard would get an assist, and my small forward had got a rebound during that. So it could have been an offensive rebound, back out to the point guard, and then the point guard set up the power forward. Or it could be a defensive rebound, and they bring it down the court. Small forward distributes the point guard then finds the power forward, and the power forward puts it away. And if the power forward's a plus on the same play, he would draw a foul against his opponent. Right, which would explain why he got an extra bonus bucket. So, a plus player doesn't automatically draw this. Okay, the plus indicates when it comes up in the scoring paradigm. So, let's say I have a power forward with a plus rating, and I roll his score for 8 points, but he doesn't roll 8 plus. Then this doesn't happen. The foul part doesn't happen. He has to roll the plus, right? But he would still get the assist from his point guard. His teammate would get the rebound, but the only time the foul would be tracked against the other power forward is if he got the bonus plus on the roll. So hopefully this helps. Anyway, it just allows you to start accumulating more stats if you want to track more data, right? Assists, rebounds, fouls. There'll be some steals, some blocks, for instance here. Right, and then what does it mean when a guy doesn't score anything? Well, he must have fouled out, or was in foul trouble and just wasn't in the game much. Right, so okay, that's it. And then the cap rules are already here, but this is free. Grab it, download it, use it at your own leisure. Bye bye.